They say anniversaries are meant to be a celebration of love, a reminder of the promises we've made. For me, it was the day my carefully constructed world came crashing down. The morning started beautifully, almost deceptively so. My husband, Daniel, woke up early to prepare breakfast, a rare treat. He placed a single red rose next to my plate, his eyes sparkling with affection. I forced a smile, feeling the weight of guilt pressing down on me like a storm cloud. "Happy anniversary, love," he said, leaning in to kiss my cheek. I felt the warmth of his lips, but my mind was elsewhere. On him, on the man who wasn't my husband. I had been seeing Ethan for 3 months. It started innocently enough. A chance meeting at a coffee shop, long conversations that turned into stolen moments. He was everything Daniel wasn't. Spontaneous, passionate, unpredictable. And today, on the day meant to honor my marriage, I had plans to meet him. Daniel left for work, reminding me of our dinner reservation that evening. "Don't be late," he teased, unaware of the double life I had been leading. As soon as he was out the door, I grabbed my phone. "I can't stop thinking about you," Ethan's text read, and my heart raced. The guilt was always there, but it was muted by the thrill, the danger of it all. By noon, I was in Ethan's apartment. The air between us was electric, charged with the kind of intensity that made me forget everything else. When he touched me, the world faded away. For a moment, I could pretend this was my life, a life where passion reigned supreme, where responsibilities didn't exist. But reality has a way of catching up. Later that afternoon, I returned home to find Daniel's car in the driveway. Panic set in. He wasn't supposed to be here yet. I quickly checked my reflection in the mirror, smoothing my hair and trying to compose myself. When I walked inside, the atmosphere was different, heavy. Daniel was sitting on the couch, his phone in hand. He looked up as I entered, his expression unreadable. "You're home early," I said, forcing a casual tone. He didn't respond immediately. Instead, he held up his phone. "Care to explain this?" My stomach dropped. On the screen was a photo of Ethan and me taken earlier that day. My mind raced, searching for an excuse, a way to explain the unexplainable. But there was nothing. "Daniel, My voice faltered. His eyes, usually so warm, were now cold, filled with a pain I had never seen before. "How long?" he asked, his voice steady but laced with hurt. 3 months, I admitted, tears streaming down my face. "I'm so sorry, Daniel. I never meant for this to happen." "But it did," he said, standing up. "On our anniversary, no less. Do you have any idea what you've done?" I tried to explain, to justify my actions, but every word felt hollow. There was no excuse for what I had done. I had betrayed him in the worst way possible. Daniel's voice broke as he said, "I loved you. I trusted you. How could you do this to us?" "I didn't mean to hurt you," I whispered, but the words sounded pathetic even to my own ears. "You didn't mean to hurt me?" he repeated, his voice rising. "You made a choice. Every text, every meeting, every lie. Those were choices." He grabbed his keys, turning to leave. "Daniel, please," I begged, reaching for him, but he pulled away. "Don't," he said, his voice breaking. "I can't look at you right now." The door slammed shut behind him, and I was left standing in the silence, the weight of my actions crashing down on me. That night, Daniel didn't come home. I called him repeatedly, leaving voicemails filled with apologies, but he didn't respond. The next morning, I received an email. It was short, to the point. "I've filed for divorce. Don't contact me." My world shattered. In one day, I had lost everything. My husband, my stability, the life we had built together. The consequences of my actions were swift and unforgiving. Over the next few weeks, I tried to reach out to Daniel, but he remained resolute. Our friends and family found out, and the judgment was overwhelming. I became the villain in everyone's eyes, the woman who destroyed her own marriage for a fleeting affair. Ethan, the man I had risked everything for, disappeared shortly after. When faced with the reality of my situation, he couldn't handle it. I was alone, left to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. The silence in the house was deafening. Every room was a reminder of what I had lost. The anniversary cards we had exchanged the year before still sat in a drawer, untouched. They felt like relics from another life, a life I had destroyed with my own hands. I started going to therapy, trying to understand why I had made the choices I did. The counselor's office became a place of brutal honesty, a mirror reflecting the flaws I had tried so hard to ignore. "You sought something outside your marriage because you felt unfulfilled," she said. "But fulfillment doesn't come from others. It has to come from within." Her words stayed with me. I had been searching for something, passion, excitement, a sense of being alive, but in doing so I had lost sight of what truly mattered. Months passed, and the divorce was finalized. Daniel moved on, finding solace in the support of our friends and family. I watched from the sidelines as he rebuilt his life, knowing I had no one to blame but myself. The pain of losing him was a constant ache, a reminder of the choices I had made and the consequences I now faced. I had been selfish, reckless, and blind to the damage I was causing. But in the midst of the pain, there was a lesson. I had hit rock bottom, but it forced me to confront my own flaws and begin the slow process of rebuilding myself. I will never forget the look in Daniel's eyes when he discovered the truth, the pain and betrayal etched into his face. It's a memory that will haunt me for the rest of my life. They say time heals all wounds, but some scars remain forever. My marriage was a casualty of my own mistakes, a painful reminder of the consequences of betrayal. And so, on what would have been our next anniversary, I sat alone in the house we once shared, reflecting on the choices that led me here. I may have lost everything, but I am determined to never make the same mistakes again.